with a number, give me their ID number.
451-280.
So there's Lillian Shaw. So when we put her ID, obviously her name comes up. The address, residence that we have on file. We will ask probably Lillian to verify this information. And obviously she is qualified for dial right and access. That's where you see here. What idea is access and dial right, so it tells the CSR right away. It populates her information, her unit number, her cross street, her address. Now from here on, now different call takers have different ways of booking the trip. So the first thing they're gonna ask is for what day. Most people say for tomorrow. So here's the calendar. They'll populate Friday. Automatically the date goes up here. The next question will be, what time would you like to travel? For training purposes, we'll say 9 a.m. Then next thing, it'll be like, what is your pickup address? You know, it said 26035 Bouquet Canyon Road, Unit 119. There's a gate code, we may ask that. Phone number, 661-803-7845, is that correct?
Yes.
So, where would you like to go? Now, she may want to come here. Now, if she knows the address, she'll say 28250 Constellation. Okay. Now, here, the CSR has a ability to ask the system to help me populate. It also gives them a map where it is. Now this map doesn't go into cross streets or anything. It's more kind of gives her an idea of where the pickup is. It says origin and destination. And it'll map within Santa Clarita. Okay. Now, for one of the comments that was here, saying that we should put the business, we do ask that question. Sometimes we do.
No, you don't.
We do get, well, we train them to ask that. House, apartment, or business. We do get some interesting responses sometimes. But let's say they were coming here. We call this base, so you can look it up on their location, and the address populates. And these are all of them are user enter. I can put, are they all here? No, but if I do find one that I don't know about, I'll then put it in the location file. For example, the routes. That's one of the things. But for those that, you know, we'll still ask you the address. Some will say, I'm going to the routes on Decoral. The address we have is 27760 Magnet Parkway. Just kind of.
So you have the address?
Correct.
For some locations.
For some locations, we don't have them all.
No, I know, but it was like the time I went to Henry Mail, and I didn't have the exact in front of me, and they told me I had to have the address, and I didn't have the address. So I had to figure out how to take the bus there.
Excuse me, Mr. Elmer?
Yes, ma'am.
We had a situation, myself and my son, about two Fridays ago, where we were, obviously it's a shared ride, and we were going to pick up, we were trying to get to the Social Security office, and the driver, I think she's a new driver, was taking, there I guess is a property, a mobile home property off of Soledad, and apparently the way the addresses are set up as far as each unit, you have the main address, then you have each unit, but apparently it's kind of loosey-goosey with the addresses. You know, they're not consistent. We ended up driving through that. She had to go through each line it was like almost 40 minutes. Before I got to 40 minutes, I called your company, the Access company, to see if they could help her out. I tried to help her out with my GPS on my tablet here. On my tablet, and she wasn't allowing me to get the unit number, so I don't know if I could have helped her, but the issue was when we finally got to this young man's location, he's a person who had obvious, disability. As he came on, I was asking whether or not your company could have asked him, because apparently that's the first time, he's a young man that goes to high school here. Could you not have asked the person who made the ride where he is located, so we wouldn't have to gone through that? Because I'm sure that has happened with other drivers. What do you do with a situation like that?
That's on a particular basis, one-on-one, we would have to ask. I am familiar with that incident.
Mhm.
We went back to the rider and actually notated his unit number on his file.
Right. Because I know, like, where my mom is, sometimes the GPS doesn't acknowledge, even with Uber, it doesn't acknowledge, pinpoint exactly where the address is.
There's
So
a lot of
yeah.
places here, and especially with the GPS, there's a lot of places here in Santa Clarita that won't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And especially when you get into the mobile home parks.
Right.
That's, so we treated cases one-on-one, and try to get as much notes.
I got
And
you.
sometimes we'll put a lot of notes in here, and
Mhm.
we'll do it on people's files in here, where it'll say, make a left on Alta Vista, and then
Mhm.
the first driveway on the right, make a right, notes like that.
So would it be helpful on our end, if we're going, like, there's a couple of properties, and we have a friend who lives in a gated community up in the hills, and our pastor also lives in a gated community up in Copper Hill. Would it help you guys out to just let you guys know that it's in a gated community and there might be an issue, or?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, to answer your question. And,
Okay.
And if there is a gate code, it's very important that
Yeah.
you let us know.
Sure.
We'll put that here.
Mhm.
We put the gate codes here.
Okay.
We'll put a note on as far as, let me bring somebody else up. I think somebody that
Thank you.
I think Ella has some notes on her.
I probably have a lot, huh? Where am I? Top.
So, see Ella's mobile home unit 77, it's on the notes as well. That's something that we put on her file.
Mhm.
So by putting that, everybody tries to go to Jake's Way.
Yeah.
On that file there, is there anything about, mobility, like equipment on there?
No?
Yes, there is, and that comes up here.
Okay.
I was gonna get to that part, but it's here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And there is, if somebody has a mobility, let me bring your file up. Misspelling your name, John.
John Taylor?
No, I'm misspelling it.
Oh. I'm trying to mix up my white king.
John.
I have all sorts.
There it is. There he
Right
is.
there.
So, this is your file, but yes, we can put, a white cane, and that comes up here.
Okay.
So the CSR fills this out, most of it, it's personal. If you are using, Access, it's a dial right, we'll make this unapplicable, because we'll
Mhm.
leave it out, Access up here. Then, when they ask you, do you have a cane, a walker, here are the mobilities, as far as what you were saying, these are mobility aids. But if somebody is in a power wheelchair, that comes up here as well. For example, here it tells us that it's ambulatory. Most of the time you use a tap card. We already have that on file as well. But that doesn't mean this cannot be changed. We can change this to, if you are traveling with a wheelchair today, we can change that as well.
So, basically, to John's whole profile, hypothetically mine as well, the whole profile can be edited at your discretion, as things change within our profile.
Correct, and we can make changes just for this particular trip as well.
Exactly.
Like, for example, today, John is gonna use a wheelchair, but he doesn't use a wheelchair most,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
So these can be edited on a case-by-case, day-by-day basis at your discretion.
Correct, and for most of the ADA members, we copy what Access has on your profile, or a lot of times is what you guys give us, whatever information you give us, we put that on your profile.
Can I ask
So
you-
as long as these can be edited in out.
Yes.
Okay, I have, I guess it's now a peculiar situation, if you want to call it. If you were to look at me, you would presume, oh, what problem does she have as a physical disability? But I have 3 areas in my back that have been MRI'd, that if I were to persist on wearing a backpack or lugging my groceries physically, I could end up in a kyphotic situation. So as a result, I use with discernment that part that you see right there to hold my books and my luggage and my attaché and things of that sort. And the challenge I've come through, especially in the city, has been utilizing that cart for my safety, to have the ramp come down, or when I'm accessing my son's access ride, and having the drivers be paused whether or not that is a disability device. So when I call and I'm riding with my son or my mother, I say yes. Sometimes she brings her cart, and then if that's the case, I try not to, but sometimes I can't help it if we're both going grocery shopping together. Like today, I brought the cart. What I've experienced is that some of your drivers from Access and also the Dollar Ride, because I know they're interchanged, and the bus drivers have a challenge with me with that device. And my question is, bar, going through some designer and having it ADA qualified that these can be used as a disability device, how can I go over that hurdle with your company to address that situation for myself? Because I'm soon to be applying for the Access services for myself.
During the booking process, you can ask that you'll be using a lift, that you're required to
Mhm.
lift, and they'll note it here.
Okay.
So lift says, and you can say that you'll be carrying a cart, and we know that here.
Okay.
Pretty much, let me make this capital so that way the driver knows that you'll be using a lift as well.
Okay. And so when I call in for that call, what should I verbalize to the rep?
You'll say, I will be needing the lift, and I'll be traveling with a cart.
Okay.
We don't, just to clarify something, there is nothing here that will say anybody's disability. We don't put that here.
Right.
It is one mobility aid you're using, we note that here, but
I'll say.
there is no information here on anybody's disability.
Right.
Elmer, I would like to add, number one, ma'am, wherever you're gonna use paratransit, make sure you use the rider guide, because the rider guide is the rule of the road.
That's
Is
the
it
Bible.
policy?
It's the
Well,
Bible.
hold on. If you use Antelope Valley, Antelope Valley, you have to use the rider guide. The question that you ask is to walk a very thin line. That there is legal, whatever you've been trained for. I have a guide dog. If I'm bored and I tell them that I'm using a white cane and it's not on there, I cannot board that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a white cane on there and I have a guide dog, I cannot board that vehicle because I was not certified by Access. So the question you ask, you have to read the rider guide, number one. It does it what you can bring aboard and what you can't bring aboard. And that's it. And that's what the driver goes by. However, I would have to be, sometimes the driver might be discussing and, like, I travel a lot. My suitcase exceeds the limit. But as long as I can bring it aboard, keep it under control, and not take a seat, the driver's not gonna stand it. But however, the driver challenged me and said, that bag weighs more than 27 pounds, and maybe that bag is 50 pounds. He didn't touch it, but he, by right, as the policy said, you cannot bring, one area said 20 pounds, another area said 27 pounds. Depends what vehicle you are, you follow the policy. Okay, the other thing is, we are very open on this AAC. It is the board members that ask the questions, not the general public. We will allow you